For the materials, I use milk cotton yarn and a 4.5mm hook, but you can use any kind of yarn and suitable hook for your yarn. Overall, to make this bag, we start from the base of double crochet, and then we repeat the pattern of this mesh stitch for the whole length until you reach your desired length. And for the strap, this is an adjustable strap. It mainly have two lengths, so this is the shorter length, and if we pull on one end, this is your longer strap. Start with a slip knot and then do a row of chains. And we will chain in multiples of 2. These chains will be the width of the bag, so you can make it as long as you want. Just make sure that it's in multiple of 2. Now we do 2 extra chains. Then do double crochet into the chain just before the 2 extra chains. So it's the third stitch from the hook. Continue to double crochet into every stitch. Now I'm at the end of this row. I will do 3 double crochet into the last stitch. These 3 double crochet will create a corner, and we will continue to double crochet for the other side of this row. So to do that, we'll look for the next stitch, which is just after the stitch we made, right? Just after the one we made 3 double crochet in, we will see the next stitch where we also had a double crochet on the opposite side. So we put the hook into that place and make a double crochet. Okay. So you can find the stitch by looking at that chain, but you can also find it by looking at the opposite of the double crochet that we made before, and just put the hook in. For the yarn tail, you can hide the yarn tail by putting that yarn tail over the hook while you crochet, and do everything else like normal. Continue doing 1 double crochet until the end of the row. Now I'm at the end of this row, and we see here was the first double crochet we made. There is also a corner, so we want to make 3 double crochet in this corner. We made 1 before, so now we made 2 more into that same stitch. Then we slip stitch into that V stitch of the first double crochet. The extra 2 chains don't count as a stitch, so we slip stitch into that first double crochet. To start the second row, we'll chain 4. The first 3 chains will count as the first double crochet, and then the last chain will count as a chain 1. Now we will skip 1 stitch and make double crochet. These chains, we count them as being in this stitch, so when we skip 1, that means we skip this one and go to the next one. So it looks like this. Then we chain 1, skip 1, and make a double crochet. Continue that pattern. Here I'm at the end of the second row, and after making the last double crochet and chain 1, you will see that if we skip 1, we will meet the first 4 chains that we did. So now we'll do a slip stitch into this chain, and we'll do it to the 3rd chain of the 4 chains. If you remember, I said that the last chain of these 4 chains will count as a chain 1. So now we'll slip stitch into the chain before that chain 1, or the 3rd chain of the 4 chains. And it is this one. So we put the hook through like this. Just simply put it through the front loop and then make a slip stitch. If we look closely at this, we'll see that here is the double crochet, here is the chain 1, and here is the 3rd chain of the 4 chains. So this is where we want to put our hook in, and we will see 2 loops, and the one facing us is the front loop. The one, well, further away from us is the back loop. So we'll put the hook in just through the front loop like this. Now to begin the next row, we'll do 4 chains, and then we'll do a double crochet into the next double crochet. So we don't have to worry about the skip 1 anymore, because we can see the double crochet from the previous row. Still do chain 1 and then make double crochet. Now I'm going to show you the slip stitch again. So after making the final double crochet and chain 1, we will now slip stitch into that 3rd chain of the 4 chains, and do that simply by putting your hook through the front loop. Now I have reached my desired length and made a slip stitch here. Then I will just cut off the yarn, pull it through, and tighten this end. You can weave in the end by going through stitches here. Now let's make an adjustable strap. First make a row of chains, The strap can have two different lengths. So the longer length, it's about equal to half of the row you are making. So if you want the longer length to be 20 centimeters, then the row you make have to be about 40 centimeters. With one end of the strap, I'm going to put it through these spaces in the back. Now I have something like this. After putting it through the back, then you can sew these two ends together. I can do that with the hook by putting the hook into that first chain and then taking the yarn here, just do a slip stitch. So I can cut this, pull the hook through, and I will tie these two ends together. Now you can weave the end through the chains to hide it, or you can just cut it. Going to weave through some and then cut it. Now I have finished the strap, and it is adjustable, so there is the shorter length, and if you pull on one, then there is the longer length.